Good evening. Today is Friday, March 2nd, 2012, and this is our weekly market wrap-up for the stockoptionassassin.com website. And first I want to take a look at the SPY, and then we're going to look at some swing trades possibly for next week, and we'll also review some of the trades we were looking at for this week. So first of all, on the SPY, I've got the 2011 high, which was 137.18, I believe. And we're kind of flirting with this area. Technically, we've closed above it a couple times, but I want to talk about the importance of confirmation. And technically speaking, we have not confirmed above this high. So when we look, we had this first breakout candle, and this candle we closed above, and then the very next day we got higher, and then we closed back down below that level. So this breakout candle is now negated. This is no longer an official breakout candle. So the very next day we closed above again, and then today we've closed back below. So what we're looking for is a close above the high of the breakout candle. The current breakout candle is from yesterday, and the high is right here, right at what is that, 138, 138.01, and we've closed lower. Now, I'm not saying that we will not confirm. I'm just saying technically we have not confirmed. And part of the reason that, and I talked about this last week in last week's video, and I talked about the dollar. So let's switch over to the UUP real quick, and you can see that the UUP had a nice pop today. And you can see that, let me bring in the moving averages real quick. Last week I talked about the importance of the 200-day moving average with the dollar, and look what happened a couple days ago. We pierced it and then just skyrocketed back to the 20-day, consolidated a little bit yesterday, and then we gapped up. And you can see this trend line that I've drawn from these previous highs. We sort of gapped above this. So really, for the dollar to get going, we would need a confirmation above this. I think it's likely we get to the 50-day moving average, which is this blue line. We may do some backfilling prior and take off, or maybe we get back to the 200-day. So the dollar is really dependent on the Greece and Europe situation, which at this point it's anybody's guess. So what we're looking at here at our site is potential breakout plays if the market were to continue higher. And last week I talked about a couple. I want to review those real quick. Goldman Sachs, we talked about, and let me switch back to my average true range bands, and that's what these bands I'm looking at, where the purple line is the 13-day exponential moving average, and these are average true range bands that sort of encompass the price action. And I like them a little better than Bollinger Bands or Keltner channels, just because I feel like they sort of hug the price action a little better. So again, average true range bands is what I'm looking at here. And last week I talked about how we had gotten to this pivot high, and we were consolidating here at the 13-day, and we were looking for a move to the upper band, and we got it. And I didn't think it was going to happen in a single day, but it did. So this was a nice play. IBM, similar setup. We had actually broken out. I was looking for a pullback to the mean here. We never quite got it, and we're consolidating here. So I think that IBM looks poised to go higher. I would look for support around this 194.88, call it 195 area, but I would look at an aggressive entry around the 196.02, which is the mean. If we can get a pullback to the mean, I would look at some April options potentially for a move back to 200 and maybe even a breakout. So that's what I'm looking at there. I think we talked about Disney last week. I did not get in this one. Disney was sort of flirting with this pivot, and this pivot we were chopping around in there. We also were looking for a pullback to the mean. Never actually got it, and this thing sort of broke out. Hasn't confirmed yet, but if you look at here, with Disney on a pullback to the mean and then possibly a second entry at this level, I think you have some nice support around 41. However, I don't know that Disney will pull back all the way to 41, so very bullish on this one. If we do get a pullback to this mean area at 41.68, I would look for a move up to 43, possibly this gap fill around 43. What is that? 43 and a quarter. So some new plays that I'm looking at, and all of these stocks I'm mentioning are in our top 100 optionable stocks and ETFs list. So if you haven't gotten that, sign up below this post. You'll get an email with the list, and you'll be able to import them. We give you both the CS file and a sort of an explanation of why we choose these stocks, mainly because the options are so liquid on this. These are great for trading, for swing trading. So sign up now to get the list. And what I'm looking at for next week is I really like Intel here. Intel has sort of broken up as knocking out a range. And in the same fashion, we're looking at the mean holding. We got some good support around here. Depending on what the market does Monday, I think it's going to set the tone. If the dollar continues higher and the market starts to pull back, I would look at an entry in Intel right around the mean, or potentially around 26.30, 33. And what you can do when you're using these bands is you can take an entry at the mean. So this is at 26.90. Can't quite see it there, but 26.86. So if you can get an entry here, you would look for a move up to the upper band, potentially a breakout. But if you get an entry here, I would take a second entry here. So this first entry, you want to take sort of a smaller position, and then I would look for a second entry. And if you're looking for options, again, I'm going with April options at this point. That way it gives you a little more time. And you can look at the money options or potentially slightly out of the money for this type of trade. Another one that I really like here is Potash. You can see Potash, we kind of moved up here, we've pulled back, and we're sort of knocking out the range. This really looks similar to the Goldman Sachs chart this week, where we had this previous high, kind of got back up there, knocked out a range, and then we sort of broke out. So again, Potash is something to be interested in. Again, you can take a trade right at the mean, second entry at the lower band. And another one I want to look at is Oracle. Oracle, you can see that we've gotten above this previous support, which was kind of resistance for about a month or so. We've kind of broken above that. I would actually wait for Oracle to move back down, and the reason why, if I bring in the moving averages here, you can see Oracle's right at the 200-day. We got sort of a topping tail. I don't think Oracle's going to crash. You have a lot of support around this $29 level, which is about the 20-day moving average. So if you can get a pullback to the 29, I would definitely be looking at April options. If you can get above, a nice breakout above the 200-day, I think you can get up to the 31, 32 area as a potential target. One other thing I'll take a look at is the last one we'll cover is Aetna AET. You can see the moving averages are layered nicely. We have the 20, the 50, and the 200. So this is a nice bullish chart. You can see we had a nice run. We're trading at near 52-week highs. We've pulled back. This is just the textbook pullback to the 20-day. Looks like it tried to break out, but we got knocked back down. So as long as this 20-day holds, I think you can get in with a look to break out of this 47 range. So if you can get in at 46 and a quarter, I think you're good. If we just kind of switch over to the average true range bands, you can see that this sort of has some confluence with that, where we're holding at the 13-day EMA. And again, we would look to break out, potentially break out of the upper band. So that's what I'm seeing for this week. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And don't forget, if you want the optionable list that I'm working with, feel free to sign up. You also get our weekly video update. You guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.